those children who came home to the house and nobody was there. Instead of them going home, they could come to the center where there were volunteers and others who would answer questions about homework or assist them with homework, give them some meaningful activities to participate as opposed to always in front of the television. So that was a real important time in my life, and I really, really appreciate having had that opportunity.
What do you miss most about that time?
Well, I think I still miss the young people. It is quite interesting that when I go places throughout this community, I meet people who call me Officer Dunlap. And these folk are 35 years old. They remember the 6th grade experience, or some of them remembered me from 1st grade. It is awesome to have them still remember that. And I think that for me, it was that I was able to accomplish what I had hoped, and that was that they would have a positive relationship with police officers throughout our community, and that they would feel good about having had that experience. And so I'm extremely proud of having served in that way, and I am still happy that those students who are now mothers and fathers themselves remember something that I said and that stuck with them. In fact, I ran into one young lady who reminded me that she still had her DARE book, and she is in her 30s. So that was interesting.
And that really shows that you made an impact into their lives, because they were productive members of our society, and they remembered you as one of the individuals that did that to them.
Well, when I was a police officer, somebody said to me early on in my career, if you treat people with respect, they'll look out for you. And I'll never forget one experience I had as a police officer where this guy was real angry with me, and he was, in my opinion, getting ready to assault me, when one of the people that I had previously arrested stood up and said, "You don't mess with Officer Dunlap." And that was a good feeling. That was a good feeling. And so I kind of remind people, and especially some of those young police officers today, that it is important that you treat people with respect, and they'll always remember that. The thing that made that so poignant to me and so clear to me was that the guy who was teaching me about being a police officer asked me this question. He said, "What if you had slapped and kicked and cursed a suspect, and 2 seconds later he was standing there in front of you with your gun? Do you think maybe what you had done was the right thing? Or do you wish you had done something different?" And I try to remember that each and every day. When you do something, you go back and you analyze it and see, would I have done something differently?
I know you're really involved in Christianity and indeed church. How important is it to have that spiritual?
Well, I don't make any bones about the fact that I'm a Christian. I don't wear it on my shoulder or anything like that. But I have a relationship with my Lord and Savior, and I think it's those experiences that I've had that lets me know that God is real. And because of that, I want everybody else to have that relationship. I am fortunate and have been fortunate that my church has given me the opportunity to serve in a different capacity. I serve as chairman of the board of directors at St. Paul Baptist Church. Okay. And for more than 20 years, I've been involved in the leadership of that church. We have a dynamic pastor, Dr. Gregory Keith Moss, and a great board of directors. But I've been blessed in so many ways. I can't even.
It's an awesome feeling, isn't it?
It is.
Well, let's talk about your family, your parents.
Well, both of my parents are deceased, but in fact, both of my parents are deceased. I have a brother and sister who are deceased, so it's me and my younger brother and younger sister. But I have a wonderful group of cousins and uncles and aunts and nephews and nieces, and we have a very large family. So our family gets together at least 3 times a year. They gather at my place on Christmas and Thanksgiving, and then we gather for family reunion each year, usually between North Carolina and South Carolina. So I am blessed to have a big family as well.
What do you remember the most about your mother and father?
My mom was known as saying, "That's my boy." She was proud of me, and I knew that. And even today, when I run across her friends, and they introduce me to other people, they don't say, "This is Commissioner Dunlap, this is George Dunlap." They say, "That's Dora's boy," and that makes me extremely proud.
As she looks down on you today, what would you think she would say?
I think she would be proud. You know, I have a plant in my house that I took from her graveside, and an aunt kept it for a while, and that aunt passed on, but she wanted me to have it. And it was so funny that my friends say you can tell when Dora's smiling. That plant just perks up, and it's like she's happy. It's growing. It's such a large. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it has grown so much, and it makes me feel like I still have a part of her, and of course I do in my heart. But just being able to look at that plant every day is a wonderful sense of relief.
You know, Mr. Dunlap, you know, you're a really awesome individual, you know, and I think that's important to have that family, because when you're dealing with a lot of families in our community, you have to really know that passion, have to have that passion, and you can tell that you're the one.
Well, I've truly been blessed. Had some awesome opportunities, especially having grown up the way I did, and you know, from not having much, but yet having a lot. I just want to make life better for others who come along, and I really, truly feel blessed.
When you walk around the city of Charlotte, because we just had the DNC in Charlotte, how was that experience like for yourself?
You know, well, for me personally, it was a good experience because I had an opportunity to interact with some people that I had admired from afar. I'm a fan of MSNBC, Chris Matthews, and some of the other hosts. And I was just walking down the sidewalk, and there was Chris Matthews sitting in a bench downtown Charlotte, just observing people. And I said to him, "Man, you can't do that. You're trying to be in whatever the word is,
Incognito.
Incognito. I mean, you can't do that." And he was just excited at the fact that I recognized him, and we took pictures together, and we talked about the show and stuff like that. It was really neat. I even put them on my Facebook page so people would know I was telling the truth. But it was just exciting to see people that most of us would just see on television right here in our very own city, and just enjoying the city. And he talked about how clean the city was. And it's always good to have other people tell you what some of us don't appreciate about where we live. It was no different when I was on the school board, how I would travel around the country and people would marvel at the work that Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system was doing, yet the citizens of our community thought we had the worst school system. And that's when we were among, and still are among, the very best school districts in this country. And people still acknowledge that, but it's the people who live here that don't understand and appreciate that. And I say to them, just to put things in perspective, if Mecklenburg County is among the very best in our nation, imagine where the rest of the country is. So if you think we're terrible, if you think we're so bad, just imagine where the rest of the country is.
And how does that make you feel, knowing that you have an impact into the growth of Charlotte-Mecklenburg County and how we look as far as being so successful?
Well, of course, I'm extremely proud to have had that opportunity, but I think about how awesome it is that the citizens of District 3 have elected me continuously for 18 years to serve and to represent them. And I don't take that for granted, and I don't take it lightly. That's why I've been committed to try to stay fresh, to do my research, to do the necessary homework, to be able to articulate the issues and concerns that they have. And I think they feel good about that. At least I feel good about that. And I think by virtue of the fact that they keep re-electing me, that's a sign that they are pretty pleased.
The crime in our community, it goes lower and lower compared to what it used to be years on the past. How does that say about not only our police department, but our citizens?
Well, you know, I haven't kept as close with those issues as I did previously, but there's a lot to be said for the reduction in the crime rate, because that has a relationship upon what we as citizens pay in terms of our tax dollars, because we have to support jails. If you recall, a few years ago, we were about to break ground on a $350 million new jail.
Correct.
That is no longer needed. Part of that is as a result of the way we treat people who have committed offenses in our community. What we began to realize was that we would never be able to build enough jails to incarcerate everybody that was arrested. So we started looking at alternative means of having people serve their time, and I think it's worked well. I also give credit to our dynamic chief of police. He came here among educational controversy about his educational background, but the truth is in the pudding. He was good at what he did. He did a good job. He still continues to do a good job. And then the citizens have taken a more active role in their own safety, which I think also contributes to the reduction of crime in our community.
Commissioner Dunlap, we're running short on time, and I really appreciate you.
You know I'm a talker.
Hey, that's a good thing. That's a good thing, sir. And you know what I'm saying, you're doing a lot of awesome things in our community, and that's a blessing. You know, and just continue doing what you're doing, because we as citizens expect a lot from our politician, county commissioners, and we expect them to do what's best for us. And we can tell by your being reelected so many times that you're doing it. So I just want to say thank you for coming on the show and continue doing the best.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mecklenburg County Commissioner, Mr. George Dunlap. You be encouraged. Thank you.